Imagine this. You are so famous that one short story post is enough for someone to know exactly where you are tonight. Sounds amazing, right? Until one day, someone starts sending you strange little gifts. A photo taken from behind your back, a box with no name left at your door, and a note written in red ink that says, "I know when you're going to die." When Nara first saw it, she laughed. She thought it was just another sick joke from some obsessed hater online. That was her first mistake. Her second mistake was believing she still had control over her life. Because from that night on, the perfect world she had built around herself began to crack. And once it started, it did not stop.
Nara was not a singer. She was the breakout face of a hit online investigation show. She went into places other people were too scared to enter. Abandoned buildings, secret rooftop parties, private spaces where rich people thought no one could expose them. The more dangerous it was, the more her audience loved her. And the more famous she became, the more people secretly wanted to see her fall. But Nara was used to being hated. She was beautiful, sharp, rich, and confident enough to come off cold. She had spent years living like every door in the world would open for her, until the night the first one slammed shut. And after that, fear finally found her. That night, Nara was live streaming from an abandoned underground parking garage. The lights above her kept flickering. The signal on her phone was unstable. She was smiling for the camera, talking like nothing could touch her. Then suddenly, everything went black. Her comment section disappeared, the screen glitched, and at the far end of the hallway, a figure in black stood completely still. He was holding a white mask. Nara took one step back, then another. For the first time, she felt it. This was not a prank. This was not attention-seeking. This was real. And just as panic started to crawl up her spine, a hand grabbed her and pulled her hard behind a concrete pillar. A hand covered her mouth, and a deep, cold voice said right against her ear, "If you want to live, stay quiet." Nara froze. When the emergency lights finally came on, the masked figure was gone, but the man who had grabbed her was still there, standing in front of her like a wall. Tall, dark clothes, hard eyes, a face so calm it was almost disturbing. His name was Kael. He was not there to ask for a photo. He was there to stop her from ending up dead. The media platform behind Nara's show had already discovered that someone had hacked into her private schedule, her usual routes, and even security footage connected to her work. In other words, this was no random creep anymore. Someone was hunting her, and Kael had been sent to make sure they failed. Nara hated him immediately. Not because he was rude, but because he looked at her like she was a problem to solve. Not a celebrity, not a woman, not the center of the room, just a target. Kael changed her routes, checked her food, canceled appointments he did not trust, stood outside doors, watched every corner. He barely smiled, never flattered her, never acted impressed. And somehow, that annoyed Nara more than fear itself. Because everyone else wanted something from her. Kael did not, and that was exactly what made him impossible to ignore. The worst part was this. The more she tried to push him away, the more her eyes kept looking for him, and that was dangerous too. One night, Nara got invited to an exclusive rooftop party. Wealthy guests, soft music, glowing city lights, perfect photo opportunities. Kael told her not to go. He said the place had too many blind spots, too many entrances, and not enough ways out. Nara thought he was overreacting, so she went anyway. Halfway through the party, a waitress walked up and offered her a drink. Nara reached for the glass, but before her fingers touched it, Kael appeared and smashed it out of her hand. The whole rooftop went silent. Every eye turned toward them. Nara was furious. She thought he had humiliated her in front of everyone, until security tested the drink and found a heavy sedative inside. That was the moment the fear became real, because now she knew whoever was coming for her was getting closer. After that, her life started falling apart fast. Her private schedule was leaked. A cut and twisted video spread online and turned people against her. Her studio lost power while she was inside alone. Her car's navigation system was tampered with and sent her onto an empty road far outside the city. And every single time something happened, Kael was there,
always on time, almost too on time. Nara did not know what unsettled her more, the person trying to destroy her, or the man who always seemed to appear 1 second before disaster hit. She started wondering who Kael really was, and how long he had been living with danger so close that he could recognize it before it even showed its face. That question would change everything. Then one rainy night, the two of them got trapped inside the editing suite after the building locked down for the evening. No signal, no staff, no cameras rolling, just the sound of rain hitting the glass. For the first time, there was no audience, no assistants, no performance, just Nara and Kael in the dark. And for the first time, silence between them did not feel hostile. Nara asked him about the scar on his arm. Kael stayed quiet for a long time. Then he finally told her the truth. He once failed to protect his younger sister, and from that day on, he never allowed himself to make that mistake again. Nara looked at him differently after that, because she finally understood something. He was not cold because he felt nothing. He was cold because he had already lost too much. After that night, something changed between them. No one said it out loud, but the air felt different. The way Nara stopped arguing over every small thing. The way Kael stayed just a little closer than before. The way she started feeling calmer the moment she heard his footsteps behind her. And that was exactly when everything became even more dangerous. Nara had to fly to Tokyo to receive a major international award. Kael strongly objected. He said the timing was wrong. She refused to hide. So he went with her. At the hotel, he checked every lock, every window, every hallway camera. And that night, Nara woke up and saw him asleep in a chair for the first time. Exhausted, still dressed, still guarding her, even in sleep. That was when she realized something she did not want to admit. She was no longer afraid of losing her freedom. She was afraid of losing him. The next night, Nara walked on stage to accept her award. The lights were bright. The applause was loud. Everything looked perfect. Then, the giant LED screen behind her suddenly turned red. Private images of Nara flashed across it in front of the entire room. The crowd erupted. Someone screamed. Then a sharp explosion came from the lighting rig. Smoke poured into the air. And in the middle of the chaos, Kael ran straight onto the stage, grabbed Nara, and threw both of them down just seconds before a massive lighting frame crashed onto the spot where she had been standing. If he had moved 1 second later, she would have died in front of everyone. That was the moment Nara stopped denying it. This person did not want to scare her. This person wanted to erase her, publicly, completely. And they were not done yet. When they got back, Nara started noticing something terrifying. Every leak had been too precise. Every attack had come at exactly the right time. Every disruption had hit the one place where it would hurt most. That meant one thing. The person behind all of this was not far away. They were close, very close. Then came the final blow. During a studio prep session, Kael suddenly shouted for Nara to get down. A second later, a heavy lighting rig broke loose and came crashing down. Kael shoved her out of the way, but he took the hit. He was thrown to the floor, and blood started soaking through his shoulder. In that instant, Nara realized the truth. She was not just afraid of dying anymore. She was afraid of losing Kael. And that fear hit harder than anything that had come before. Kael was rushed to the hospital, and it was there that the truth finally came out. The mastermind was not a stranger, not an obsessed fan, not some anonymous stalker online. It was Mira, Nara's content manager, the woman who always stood nearby, the woman who always knew where Nara was going, who she was meeting, and when she was most vulnerable. When they confronted her, Mira smiled, a twisted, ugly smile. Then she said the words Nara never expected to hear. Because you have everything. The attention, the beauty, the money, the spotlight. I clean up your mess. I protect your image. I build the road you walk on. And still, no one remembers me. I wanted you to know what it feels like to lose everything one piece at a time. That was the deepest cut of all. Not being hunted, not nearly dying, but being betrayed by the one person she had never thought to fear. Mira was arrested. The nightmare was over. At least, that was what everyone said. The company increased security, the platform promised better protection, and Kael, after waking up, said his job was finished. The threat was gone. He could leave now. Nara felt something inside her go empty when she heard that. So she walked up to him, looked him in the eyes, and asked the question she could not hold back anymore. "If I don't need a bodyguard now, do you still have a reason to stay?" For the first time, Kael looked shaken, really shaken. Nara took one more step closer. Then she asked, very softly, "You saved me again and again, but were you staying because it was your job, or because of me?" And this time, Kael did not hide from the answer. He stepped closer, lifted her face gently in one hand, and when he spoke, his voice was no longer cold. "I've been trying not to answer that since the first night I met you." Then he kissed her, slow, heavy, held back for far too long, as if every sleepless night, every close call, every feeling they had both tried to bury had finally broken through at once. Outside, the city was still glowing, screens were still flashing, the world was still moving. But for Nara, everything had changed, because for the first time in a long time, she no longer felt like prey. The man who entered her life like a shadow had become the only place that felt safe. And the scariest part of all, if Kael had arrived just a few minutes later that first night, there would have been no love story at all, only a cold headline the next morning. She didn't survive.